So good morning, everybody. Welcome. I hope you're very well and you're enjoying your week so far. I think we've established wherever you are in the country might have a little bit of different weather forecast, but we're here to make it a really sunny day for you. If you don't know me, my name's Steph Adams. I'm the Training and Engagement Manager at P&O Cruises, and today I'm joined by our Training Executive, Angie Angelova. Now, today, I want to talk to you about how easy it is to make a fly cruise booking on Polar online. Now, we've got so many fly cruise options at P&O Cruises, but we always do talk about our home port here in Southampton and about how easy it is to sail out of here. The most amount of capacity, right, out of the UK, because we are Britain's favourite cruise line. However, how familiar are you with all of the incredible fly cruise options that we do have? And that's what we're going to cover today. We're going to cover the options and then look at that early, easy journey on Polar online. We're going to look at our options from the Mediterranean. We're going to look at the Canary Islands to the Caribbean to even more far-flung destinations to really exotic locations in the world. And these are part of our Southern Hemisphere journeys or exotic fly cruises. So we're going to explore all of that today. So I hope that sounds good. So if it does, give me the thumbs up. We've got some reactions. And if you do have any questions throughout, please, please, please do let myself or Angie know. So Angie is going to be there typing away, but we will have questions and answers at the end. And the brilliant thing is we've got some shy reward points to give away. So that makes it even happier, right? Now, before we look at these benefits and the options, I should say, with the benefits of flying to a P&O Cruises holiday is, well, guests can start their holiday so much sooner. They have less sea days from Southampton, so they can get to the heart of a destination, immerse themselves and really get exploring. We make it so very easy with our fly cruises as well. So wherever our guests are flying to, whether it be the Caribbean or the Canaries, we include the flights and the transfers as part of our packages. And then another benefit is with flights from all over the UK, it makes these holidays so accessible. So we will have a look at the regional air options that we have available too. So some great benefits of our fly cruises. But let's just delve a little bit deeper into some of these itineraries before we move in to Polar online. Now I'm going to start off with our Mediterranean fly cruises. Now, guests can fly straight to the sunshine in no time at all. I think it's just less than 4 hours. And our guests travel out to meet Azura, our social paradise at sea. Now, guests will go to Valletta, and Azura is based out of Valletta, normally from around the end of March, beginning of April, through the summer season until October time. The great thing with this itinerary is that we can offer the best of the Med with either 7 or 14 night options available. Now, guests can choose from Eastern, Central and Western Med, so we really do have it covered. Now, our Central Mediterranean cruises go to destinations in the Adriatic and the Ionian Seas, and they include calls into places like Dubrovnik, Zadar, Kotor and Corfu. Our Eastern Mediterranean cruises, well, they offer a wealth of Greek destinations, including Athens, Rhodes, Santorini, I didn't say that right, did I? And even calls into Turkey for Kusadasi for Ephesus. And then finally, the Western Med is where we see those gorgeous Italian ports, such as Rome, Florence or Pisa from Livorno, and or Naples. And you can see here from these maps that I'm showing you, you can choose to do a part of the Mediterranean. So the 7 night option there is that lovely Eastern Med itinerary. Or this slide to the right, you can see on the map here, this is a 14-night holiday where we've combined the Western Med with those Italian ports and the Greek ports for that Eastern Med itinerary. So by flying straight to Malta without those couple of days at sea, you're only getting 2 sea days in a week. You're really being able to immerse yourself into these incredible destinations. Now, for our Fly Mediterranean cruises, now we've got a number of regional flights available. These include Gatwick, Manchester, Birmingham, Bristol, Newcastle, and Glasgow. And this is for the rest of 2023, 24, and the summer of 2025, which has not long been on sale. But you will spot there, we're adding to that regional programme, and East Midlands has been added for the summer of 2025. Now, I talked about the benefit of making these cruises really accessible to our guests. And of course, we know going from Southampton is easy. We can include the coach in our select price or that car parking when guests get to Southampton. But if they don't want to travel so far, flying out from, say, Glasgow and Newcastle makes it even easier. Now, all of these airports do have a small supplement, and these start from around £50 per person. But when we get into Polar Online, I will show you where those supplements are listed. But generally, London is always included in the price. The benefit for you is we package these cruises up with the flights, so you earn commission on the whole package. The only thing that you will see in a breakdown is a flight supplement. That's not the cost of the price, but we'll look at that on Polar. How's this sounding so far? Look, about 50% of these cruises, we offer full charters with TUI. So everyone on those flights is traveling and getting the holiday excitement they're going to get to Malta together. But we do also work with airlines such as Jet2, Air Malta, EasyJet, and British Airways. And once a customer has booked from their chosen regional airport, we will give full instructions of how guests can check in and manage their booking online with whatever airline they have been booked with. Now, a question for you. Have you ever heard of bonded baggage? Hands up if you have. Maybe you haven't heard of bonded baggage. A couple of you have. Yes. Now, for others that don't know what bonded baggage is, I'm going to point out as we go through this presentation which fly cruises give the option of bonded baggage. Now, this is where flights, on certain flights, guests don't need to claim their bags on arrival or take their bags to the airport and check them in on departure. Now, for Malta, the thing to point out is that we only offer bonded baggage on the inbound to the UK. So for guests flying out to Malta, they will check in their bags and they will collect them at baggage reclaim before meeting the coach and going on their holiday. But coming back, we make it nice and easy. Bags will be left outside their cabins the night before. We will take their bags to the airport, check them in, and it's a very easy process. So I will point out which of our fly cruises offer these bonded baggage as we go through. But for Malta, due to Brexit, it's only available on inbound to the UK. So what a lovely way to experience the Med. You've got those regional flights. We can offer those incredible destinations, 7 or 14-night options. But if guests don't want to do the summer months, they want to get a lovely bit of winter sunshine. Well, is there anywhere better than the Canary Islands? And we reposition our beautiful Azura down to Tenerife around the end of October for the winter season. And this is great because guests can really immerse themselves in everything the Canary Islands has to offer, because they can island hop around. Now, look, we know so many of our customers have perhaps done a land-based holiday to the Canary Islands. My family was a huge fan of Tenerife. We went to the lovely beaches, we went to the water park once a week, and we relaxed. And there was nothing wrong with that holiday type. However, going on a cruise, I have immersed myself in this incredible region. It's about going off the beaten track with the Canary Islands, and that's what we can offer at P&O Cruises. I've done some great experiences there, from everything from a pottery workshop in the hills of Gran Canaria to going to a coffee plantation, a rum distillery, and even learning to surf. Now, I say learning to surf, I stood up for about 2 seconds, but I'm going to take it as a win. I learned, and it's a great thing that you can do there. So going on a cruise holiday really does give our guests the option to do something very different. Now, like the Med cruises, our Canary Islands fly cruises can be 7 or 14-night options, and you can see the differences in the maps here. Now, we always offer an overnight stay in Tenerife, which is great, but we also offer evening calls. And when we talk about evening calls at P&O Cruises, that's where we stay later than 9 p.m. And we offer those evening calls in Madeira and Gran Canaria. So isn't that great to have those 3 places where we can really see what the destination is like when the sun goes down? There's a brilliant experience you can do in Tenerife as well. You can go and do some stargazing at the top of Mount Teide, so it's brilliant to go and do. But what a great way to island hop and get some winter sunshine. And of course, the flight time around 4 hours from the UK, from all of those regional airports that we talked about earlier, apart from East Midlands, I should point that out. Now, with 2 sea days a week, guests can really get into the Canary Islands way of life. But if you want a bit more winter sun and you don't want to go to the Canaries, you want to fly a bit further, then who would not want to be in that hammock right now? I know we've all talked about the weather this morning, but hands up if you want to be in that hammock right now, dreaming of your P&O Cruises holiday. Yeah, give me those reactions. You're all raising your hands. I really wish that was me in that hammock. Now, we have incredible Caribbean fly cruise options with Avia and Britannia, and they both reposition down to that region around the end of October. Now, it's important to note that both Avia and Britannia go there. However, Britannia solely 14-night Caribbean cruises from Barbados. Avia 7 or 14-night options from Antigua and Barbados. So if guests are short of time, but they want to get into that Caribbean style of life, well, they can do that on Avia. Now, what a way to go and see 8 or 9 incredible islands. It's an amazing holiday. I last went to the Caribbean on Britannia, my favourite. I shouldn't say that, but I will. Britannia in 2019. And it was just incredible. We talk about being slick, but it really, really is. And I'll talk about that in a second. Now, all of our fly cruises to the Caribbean offer Birmingham, Gatwick, and Manchester flights. But if you do check out our regional page on Shine Rewards Club, you'll see that on selected cruises to this beautiful region, we've got Newcastle, Bournemouth, Edinburgh, and Belfast, to name but a few. Now look at that. Imagine island hopping around the Caribbean. And I loved some of the experiences out there. My husband's very much an adventure person, so he forces me to do some of this stuff. But we went river tubing in Grenada. We went zip lining in Antigua, but we also relaxed on a lovely beach afterwards. Whatever you're into, there'll be an experience there for our guests. And it was a great snapshot of certain islands. I know going from my catamaran tour to the Pitons, I really want to go back to St. Lucia. Now, talking of those regional flights, you will see this page on Shine Rewards Club, and this is where you'll find the details. Now, typically for our charter flights for the Caribbean season, we use TUI. That's our dominant airline. And when guests are allocated a seat, because as I said before, it's all about being packaged up in the price, everyone is automatically allocated an economy class seat. However, for the Caribbean, it's of course classed as a long-haul flight, and there's the option to upgrade to premium economy. And this starts at about £250 per person each way. And I will show you when we get onto Polar Online. Don't worry, I am getting there. We'll show you how you can add this on. Once a guest has booked their Caribbean cruise with us, they're getting very excited. If they do want to go on and pre-book seats, and they're able to do this via our flight seat booker system. And this is typically available around 14 weeks prior to departure. But don't hold me to that. Sometimes that changes. So guests will be emailed when the seat booker is available. Now, the final thoughts on the Caribbean, and I've told you about some of the adventures that we had, said it was slick. And this is where bonded baggage comes into its own. I checked in at Gatwick, said goodbye to my bags. I enjoyed everything from duty-free to the flight. And when I stepped off the aircraft steps in Barbados, it was incredible to see a bus come along, jumped on it, straight to the cruise terminal. I was up on deck, sunset bar, pina colada in hand. And then by the time I went to get changed for my dinner, my bags had been delivered to the cabin. Now, how good does that sound? Give me a reaction if you want to come to the Caribbean with P&O Cruises. Yes, so many of you. Now, finally, before we go on to Polar Online, I want to talk about our Southern Hemisphere journeys. And this is where we take our guests on half a world cruise, either from Southampton to Australia and New Zealand, or they fly and then sail back to Southampton. So it's essentially half of our world cruise. Now, these cruises do vary from 40 to 59 nights, depending on where a guest wants to visit. Now, we do have exotic fly cruises, which are classed as a sector, if you like, a shorter duration, a shorter part of that full world cruise, which we know is a 99-night Western circumnavigation. And these sectors or exotic fly cruise range from 10 to 36 nights. Now, to give you a flavour of what that looks, can you imagine checking in 3rd of January, Christmas has been and gone, you've welcomed in the new year, but January's a bit bleak, right? Imagine escaping the worst bit of winter, going on half a world cruise, or indeed flying out to exotic locations. This one here, Southampton to Sydney for 46 nights. And imagine the adventures our guests are going to have on board. For anyone a bit more short on time, how about Sydney to Singapore, for an example? What a great holiday we can offer. Now, there is more of these available. You can either search those on in our brochure or, of course, on our website. So you'll be able to see exactly where those sectors are, where the turnaround ports are. But with our world cruises or exotic fly cruises, we don't have charters because everybody wants to do their own thing. So we use scheduled airlines. So it's really great to be very flexible for our guests. Whilst we do include the price of the flight, coach transfers from the terminal to the port terminal, we also include, if required, a hotel on embarkation or disembarkation if we need to, if the flight times don't tie up quite so well with embarkation and disembarkation. But with flexibility in mind, guests can then choose to extend their stay in Hong Kong. They can extend their stay however they would like, and we can work with our guests on an individual basis as to their preference of airline and how long they would like to deviate their flight for. So if 99 nights is not on the cards for our guests, they want to fly out to meet our world cruise, then they absolutely can. So bear that in mind. Now, I'm going to check if we've got any questions just before we get to Polar Online, because this is great, right? We can absolutely now tell our guests about all of these fabulous fly cruise options. But we want to be able to then go on and get that booking. So I'm just going to check the questions. Oh, Lynn, I can just see you. You're going to the Caribbean for your birthday next year. You enjoy that. I don't think there is many questions. Great. So I'm going to start sharing again. And what I'm going to do is show you how you can make these bookings. Just one question. Can you recap how many nights class as an exotic fly cruise? They're from around 10 to 36 nights when you look at the ones that are available. Right, hands up if you want to get into Polar Online. Let's get into Complete Cruise Solution because we want to get these bookings, okay? So we're going to Complete Cruise Solution and we're going to proceed to Polar Online. Now, it's so very easy. When you see how easy this is, you're going to wonder why on earth you're not booking more fly cruises. There's nothing to be worried about. And I'm sure many of you are used to making bookings through Polar Online from Southampton. So I'm going to point out the differences. So we're going to go and create a booking. I hope you can all see my screen. My Wi-Fi in Southampton is incredible today. Just bear with me a second. Here we go. Now, of course, the most important thing I always talk about on any of my Polar Online demonstrations is about searching for a past guest phone number. And that is always a must, whatever you are doing. Just in case there's any sort of credits being allowed on theirs, they've got any sort of discounts applicable at time of booking. So I'm going to just put my phone number in and I'm going to search for myself. I'm going to select passenger 1 and passenger 2. And this is, of course, where any guest who's travelled with myself will have their past URN number. So I know I'm searching for all the correct things. Now let's get down into that cruise search. Now, I always keep this search nice and loose. So where should we go? I fancy the Caribbean Premium Air next November. Anyone with me? I think we'll do that. So we're going to do LON. I'm in the south, so I want to fly out of London. And I want Premium Air because we all want a bit of luxury on our holiday. We're going to use Premium. Now, the one thing to point out with this home city, LON, is of course used for any bookings that are out of Southampton. But it is really important that any cruises out of London, so whether this is for our Fly Canaries, Fly to the Caribbean or Malta, LON is used. Now, we typically use Gatwick, but we don't use LGW. We charter the aircraft, so use LON as our package price. If you're going out of Southampton, you would use LON, but you'd of course have no air. But we are going to go to the Caribbean. I want to go on the 1st of November, around about that date. And I'm going to search by date. Now, this always brings up a lot of options. And the way that you can double check if you are searching for a fly cruise is, of course, you've got the knowledge now because you've watched this webinar, which cruises have flights, but you can double check. You can look along here for the routing and see exactly which airports guests would be flying to. So for Azura here, we can see Tenerife to Tenerife. And I want to go on Britannia. I did say she was my favourite. Barbados to Barbados. The other great thing to point out on here, which is not necessarily relevant for fly cruising, but always a very handy tip, is this dining availability. 1A and 2A, 1C and 2C, what on earth does that mean? If you see 1A and 2A, it means first sit-in for dinner in the evening is available, second sit-in is available. If you see a W, it's waitlisted, or a C means it's closed. We can't take any bookings on that meal time. But one caveat to that, Iona and Avia are solely freedom dining. So they'll always show that dining availability as closed. So just another little handy tip there for you. But I'm going to go on Britannia on the 1st of November, 14 nights, and I'm going to save and continue. Now, this is where you can double check that you've put in that you've got those flights, because you can see here on the 1st of November, I've got my transfer from the airport to the port. I'm going to be on Britannia for 14 nights, and then I'm going to have my transfer back from the port to the airport. Now I'm going to submit. And this is where you will be told what the premium upgrade is. So I want it to go to London to Barbados, and I can see it's at £254.50. And I can see I also want it on the way home, because I'll probably be so upset that I'm leaving my beautiful Britannia and the weather of the Caribbean. So I'm going to select both of those and I'm going to submit. Now, you then won't see that supplement until we get to the pricing screen. Now, I'm sure many of you are used to using Polar Online, and this is where you get effectively to the same part as where you were making a Southampton booking. But I'm just going to double check that we're on the same page. So we're going to do fare comparisons. It's the most important button on Polar Online, because this is where our guests can make a really informed decision. Select price versus early saver. Now, we know we always have that 2 price points in the market. The select price is where we can get onboard spending money. We can get, choose our cabin, choose our dining time. If port shuttle buses are required, they'll be included in the price. Versus guests that may be a bit more price-led on the early saver, where they want a cheaper fare and they're not worried where their cabin is, what dining time they have. So I always like to bring up both of those price points to make a really informed decision. So you can see here, we've got those prices side by side, and you can see the early saver here and the select price over on the left-hand side. And this is where you can really see the difference. These are all on a guaranteed basis, because we guarantee that your cabin will be within that grade, but we won't tell you where. This is telling us there's 9 or 7 of those available in that particular grade. And this is where you will be able to choose your cabin. So you work out the difference, 1,799 per person versus 1,549. Does that difference mean a lot to a guest? For me, I love to choose my cabin. I love going to the gym, so I actually like a cabin near the laundrette so I can wash my kit and I don't have to worry about that. That's really important to me, as is having anytime dining. But for guests, that price point might make the difference. But my advice, always check what the onboard spending money difference is, because you might pay more up front, but you're going to get more back. So I'm going to go for an inside cabin here, 1,799. Typically, I would go balcony, right, for the Caribbean, but I don't want to hold off too many balcony cabins in inventory. So I'm going to save and continue. And this is where you can do your checks again to check that you've got that package price. You can see I'm going from London. You can see I've got premium air, and you can see I've got transfers. You can see that my package price is 1,799. And then you can see that the premium air is just pulled through as a supplement at 509. Now it's given me £90 worth of onboard spending money. Now, if I'm right, the difference was £150, is that right? No, maybe £250. So £90 different just closes that gap. So it's what's important to our guest. But for me, it's really important I choose my cabin. So I'm happy with that price, and I'm going to save and continue. So I'm going to continue into the booking engine. I'm going to mark up any of my erratas that I read to say I read them to my guest. And then I'm going to choose my cabin. Now, it always gives you the lovely location. Is it at the forward part? Is it on the port side or the starboard side? Can it be double or twin beds? Now, sometimes our cabins show as fixed twin. Now, with a fixed twin, it means that they cannot be changed into a double bed. So if a guest wants a double bed, you may have to go to another grade of cabin to be able to select that. So it's always worth checking that berths if it is versatile. Now, because we're on a demonstration, I'm going to pick a guaranteed basis and I'm going to save and continue. And this is probably the most familiar page that you get to, where you complete the booking. You can see, because I put in my past passenger details, it's bringing through dates of birth, and it's pulling through that we're adults, our gender, and our names. Now, the last things to do is to, of course, personalise our guest holiday. Would they like first, second, or anytime dining? What kind of bed would they like? Twins or queen? And are they open to any upgrade? Now, if you are booking on a guaranteed basis on that early saver, you would have to have it as an open to any upgrade, because of course we're choosing which cabin you're going from. But if you're not worried, you can also be open to any upgrade. If a guest booked on the select price though, and they have chosen a cabin, make sure you click the do not upgrade unless you've told them that we could possibly change their cabin and they won't be able to get that original one back. So sometimes people like a particular location on the ship. Now, if our guests are happy with all of that, they're ready to go to the Caribbean, they're ready to go on Britannia, then you press book now. And that completes the booking. So it's very, very similar to booking out of Southampton. It is just that initial part where we choose whether they want premium or economy air, and then you add in that extra part. Now that is how you book for a Mediterranean fly cruise out of Malta, Tenerife for the Canary Islands, and the Caribbean. However, I'm going to quickly show you, and I hope you're still with me. Hands up if you're still with me. Give me some reactions. If we can show you how to book those exotic fly locations. So we're going to create our booking just as we did before. And don't worry, I'm not going to go through the full process with you now. I'm going to show you just the part that is different in that booking journey. And I wanted to go all the way through that, just in case some of you aren't so familiar with Polar Online. But we've got a guest. They can't do that full world cruise. They want to do an exotic fly location. So let's see. We're going to go out of London, and I'm going to choose economy air for this one. We need to know the date that the world cruise fully departs. So in 2025, Arcadia departs on that 99-night adventure on the 3rd of January 2025. So I'm going to put in 03 Jan 25. So looks very similar to how we started with the Fly Caribbean cruise. I'm going to search by date again. And this is where you will be brought up Arcadia's world cruise. Now, how on earth do you choose which sectors are available? Does anybody know? Well, I'm going to show you. We are going to go to view segments. Now, this you don't have to do on any of the other cruises apart from these Southern Hemisphere journeys or the sectors. And this is where you'll see a whole range of cruises. Southampton to San Francisco for 22 nights. You might do Brisbane to Southampton for 51 nights. Hong Kong to Dubai for 17 nights. So there's a real range of cruises available, and it does give you the departure date. So what date your guests would fly out and what day they would arrive home. So where do we fancy? I quite fancy Hong Kong to Dubai. So I'm going to select the radio button. I'm going to save and continue. Again, it's picked up that I've got my port transfers with my 17 days on Arcadia, and I'm going to submit. And this is exactly where we get to in that booking journey again. Of course, I'm going to go with putting in my fare comparison. And I'm just going to double check if there's any sort of flight supplement available. So I'm going to choose an inside cabin. I'm going to save and continue. And you can see it's a package fare, but we've got the air and we've got the transfer. Easy, right? Give me a thumbs up if that sounds easy and you can't wait to go and sell those exotic fly cruises. So many of you, I love it. I love all the reactions. So that was everything in terms of demonstration purposes. And I really hope you found that helpful. So what we're going to do now is I would suggest you go on to Shine Rewards Club and check out that regional air. And you can go ahead and, you know, make these incredible fly cruise bookings. There's some brilliant prices available. So Angie, before we give away some shine points, have you got any questions for us, or indeed have you been helping away with all of those questions? Feel free to come on your camera and say hello to everybody.
Hello everyone. Sorry, I'm not sure if my camera is working for some reason. You can't see my face today, but just wanted to, so a couple of things have come up for upgrades. Can you upgrade one way to premium economy? It has to be on return basis. We had what is an escorted booking. So I was just explaining that children who are 13 years and over must be booked in a cabin with a guest who's 16 years and over, but as long as they're linked to their parents' cabin.
Yes, brilliant.
How about the hotels? I'm not sure what you mean on that one, Steve. Sorry. What happens if flights are cancelled or delayed? So it really depends kind of at what stage that is, whether guests are already at the airport or whether we've been notified prior. But that's why it's really important to have to complete the passenger immigration details on every single booking, because if we have the correct telephone number and email address for the guest, we can call them, we can send them a text message, we can get in touch and communicate with them directly. Let me just have a look if there's any.
Someone's saying that they're not able to make a booking. You've registered with Shine, but you can't log into the booking page. You need to register on Complete Cruise Solution to get a login for this system. It's separate to Shine Rewards Club. Shine Rewards Club is our reward and loyalty scheme, and then we will get you registered on ccs.com. If you've still not been accepted, drop me an email after this and we will look into that for you.
I'm also going to put in on Ask CCS, we've got a really helpful page that relates to all flight questions. So if you wanted to read it in your own time, this is the link. So you can access it via Shine Rewards Club. So if you go and Ask CCS and type in the word flights, we've got flight queries questions on there as well, that you can, because I'm sure that you'll have loads of information overload today. But if you wanted to refer to it at a later stage, there's information about check-in, baggage allowance as well, excess luggage, seat selection, children and infants, upgrades, meals and drinks as well. That all important requests when it comes to pre-ordering meal, specific dietary requests for flights as well.
Perfect. And Steve Dunn, I'm sorry, I can't show you the extended stays on a segment of a world cruise for hotels because it was too far out. So unfortunately, we don't have that to be able to add that on at this stage. It's too far out for us to be able to show you that.
And there was a question about how do you check the flight times? I guess we probably won't have any flight times at the moment.
Not at the moment, but we will email all guests when seat bookers available. And if you look at that Ask CCS, what I found really helpful was we've got information for, say, for example, this year's Fly Med, Fly Canaries and our Caribbean season. And what it tells you is what kind of booking you've made. So whether you are on a charter, which is a full charter, so everybody on that flight is going to Malta, or whether you're on an allocation, we will be able to give you the details of that, and then you'll be able to go to the relevant airline's website and check in and manage your booking that way. But we have to do that most within the year that we are. And very good question. Are most flights direct charters? Yes, they are. We charter in the aircraft. It's a direct charter from Gatwick to Barbados or Bristol to Tenerife. It is absolutely flight direct charters. And then if you want to use scheduled for the exotic fly cruises, then we can work with you with that airline, whether you deviate your flight coming back, etc.
There was also one question about accessibility. So if you do have any guests that do require assistance at the airport, it's really, really important that you request your onboard needs questionnaire when making the booking, because there is a section on there they can fill in with regards to what assistance they require. There's also an email address as well if they have any particular questions, but your onboard needs questionnaire is quite comprehensive, and then we can also get in touch with the guest if we need further information. Of course, some airlines do vary in terms of how their kind of assistance is requested, but the team are really helpful and they'll be able to assist the guest if needed.
Absolutely. And look, we're getting lots of questions about what will happen. What happens if an allocation flight is cancelled? Please don't worry about things like that. But we do know that guests do get that. We will work with you depending on what stage that booking, if it has to get cancelled. If it absolutely has to, we will work on an alternative solution, but it will depend whether it's a schedule change or whether something has happened that we need to get our guests to the ship. So we will work with you, and I can't give you an answer, a standard answer, because it will depend on when the booking, if it does need to be cancelled. But we will work with our guests and yourselves to make sure our guests get to their holiday destination and have a fantastic time. Okay, who wants to win some shine points? Shall we have a go at winning some shine points? I've got 5 questions. Angie, if you could take a note of the winners as well. Angie, if you could pick them at random, that would be great. So 5 questions, get typing your answers in. So which ship offers 7 and 14 nights in the Caribbean? So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to answer that. So many of you. Okay. The answer is, of course, Avia. Britannia offers solely 14-night holidays. Okay, Angie, pick a winner at random while I ask question number 2. Number 2, which airport is new for 2025 as part of our Med Fly Cruises? So which was the new airport? And you know what? It makes me so happy to see how many of you are answering. So you have really took this in today, and I hope it's been helpful. It is, of course, East Midlands. So well done. So many of you answering. Now, question 3, which is correct? You search for Polar online for those exotic fly cruises by date that the guest wants to join the ship, or by the date that the world cruise departs on. Which is correct? Is it the departure date for the guest or the departure date of the world cruise? It was a bit of a tricky one there. I had to give something a bit of a difference. So it was the date that the full world cruise departs versus the date that the guests would fly to their exotic fly location. Okay, question 4. This is really easy. Where do we fly to in the Canary Islands? Where was the Adams family favourite place that we used to go on holiday? And we can tell you all, lovely travel agents, I always use all the airport codes as well when I'm describing something. Brilliant. Okay, question number 5. What benefit is offered as part of the select price on fly cruises? Now, I hope I pointed that out through our booking journey. It was a slightly different benefit to what we give away on the select from out of Southampton. And of course, we know that that select price is a great option. Brilliant. So many of you answering. It is, of course, onboard spending money. My favourites. You can spend it whatever you want. But one thing to note is that on the fly cruises, which is the difference for the cruises out of Southampton, you can choose onboard spending money, car parking and coach transfer to Southampton. But on fly cruises, the onboard spending money is the select price benefit. We don't offer the coach or the car parking. So well done to all of you. How do you like to spend your onboard spending money? Let me know. I'd definitely like to try cocktail of the day. Right, Angie, would you like to, on drink, haha, of course, Natalie Deacon perfume, that's a better option. I should do that. Or in the spa, absolutely. Now, thank you so much. Let me find out who the winners are. Angie, have you got 5 lovely names picked at total random?
I do. I've got Shana H from Hayes Travel.
Woo.
Congratulations. We have Janet H from IntelliTravel.
Yay, well done.
Congratulations. Kathy Batchford from Fred Olsen.
Yes, lovely.
Louise J and Ellen H from IntelliTravel.
Wow, well done. Thank you very much. That was 5, right? Yes.
Well done, everyone.
Well done, everyone. And look, we hope you've enjoyed this session today. We're trying to find different topics to talk to you about. If you do have any suggestions, please do let us know. We really want to help you with your learning. After this, you will be sent a survey. Please do give us feedback. If you would like any more information, let us know. We can always come back to you on some of those questions if we didn't answer them. Sorry, it's really hard to keep up with all the questions. We really hope that you did learn something today, though. So I wish you all the very best for the rest of Tuesday and the rest of this week, and take care of yourselves. Thank you very much.